BadgerLink is Wisconsin's online library, providing Wisconsin residents with a collection of licensed, trustworthy databases and online resources from 6 content providers. Today, I will be providing a quick overview of searching for newspapers within BadgerLink resources. These tips and tricks apply to current and historical newspapers, Wisconsin, and national publications. From the homepage of the BadgerLink website, you can select newspapers from the top resources to get to the All Resources page with the format of newspapers already selected. This listing includes all the BadgerLink resources that provide newspaper content. The 3 main resources for newspaper content provided through the BadgerLink collection are Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers, Newspapers.com Library Edition World Collection, and US Newsstream. I'm going to go into detail on these 3 resources for today's session. The 3 additional resources listed here are Newspaper Source Plus, which has full text coverage of a few Wisconsin and national newspapers. Newswires, which includes news from Associated Press, CNN Wire, and Business Wire. And Regional Business News provides full text of 108 business-specific newspapers and magazines dating back to 1990. So these 3 resources are from EBSCO and are part of subscriptions to other EBSCO resources within the BadgerLink collection. They are not specifically procured to be newspaper resources like the 3 resources I'm going to discuss for the rest of the session, and are therefore seen as additional perks to separate subscriptions. So again, the 3 newspaper resources that are procured to provide all Wisconsin residents with newspaper content through BadgerLink are Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers, Newspapers.com Library Edition World Collection, and US Newsstream. I'm going to start with Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers provides cover-to-cover newspaper content for over 200 Wisconsin newspapers from 2005 to 60 days ago, plus another 40 newspapers from 1800s and 1900s. You may notice that these Wisconsin newspaper publications are from smaller towns and cities in Wisconsin than the bigger newspapers. This is one of the great and unique features of this resource. There are 286 publications in a search for newspapers from 2005 to 60 days ago. And there are, if I click on Search Historical Newspapers, there are 47 historical newspapers ranging from the early 1800s to the mid-1900s. Again, this resource is called Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. Newspapers.com Library Edition World Collection is a historical newspapers archive from the 1700s to 2000s, containing thousands of well-known regional, state, and small local newspapers, mostly in the US. There are over 150 Wisconsin newspaper titles in newspapers.com. US Newsstream contains current and archival to the 1980s US news, featuring national and regional sources including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, Boston Globe, Newsday, and Chicago Tribune, as well as 26 Wisconsin titles, including the Green Bay Gazette, the Janesville Gazette, Kenosha News, La Crosse Tribune, the Cap Times, Stevens Point Journal, Wausau Daily Herald, and Wisconsin State Journal. Because these 3 newspaper resources have different types of publications within them, it may be tough to know where to start, but understanding their differences is helpful. US Newsstream has current newspapers of both Wisconsin and national publications, but mostly national and the larger cities in Wisconsin. Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers has both current and historical titles, but only Wisconsin, and mostly smaller towns than those larger cities found in U.S. Newsstream publications. Newspapers.com Library Edition World Collection has historical newspapers of both Wisconsin and national publications. The fastest way to find out which Wisconsin publication title is in which BadgerLink resource is to search in BadgerLink's Wisconsin Newspapers in BadgerLink title list found on the BadgerLink website. So from the resources page, seen here, there is a link to this title list from each of the 3 main newspaper resource descriptions. So you can see it here. There's a link to the title list under Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. Here's the link under newspapers.com Library Edition. And here's the link under US Newsstream. All 3 of those links go to the same place, this sheet, which again is called the Wisconsin Newspapers in BadgerLink title list. So this list is the best place to start when you know the Wisconsin publication you are looking for. The title list is listed in alphabetical order by Wisconsin city. So this column B is the city, and as you can see, it starts with A, goes down to Z. Also included on this sheet are the dates of coverage, so the start year and the end year, and a resource link to that particular BadgerLink resource that the title and the coverage is displayed in is found here too, in column G. So I find this to be a great first step for folks searching for Wisconsin newspaper titles in BadgerLink resources. So say you live in Edgerton and you want to find an article in your local Edgerton Reporter. You'd scroll down to cities that start with E for Edgerton. And luckily, we have some years of coverage of the Edgerton Reporter, 2005 to 60 days ago, found in Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. Say you're looking for information on your ancestors that lived in Green Bay and want to see about your coverage of the regional newspapers there. So I scroll down to Green Bay and there are titles available through BadgerLink resources. The Compass from 2005, available in Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. The Green Bay Gazette from 1999 to present day in US Newsstream. The Green Bay Republican and the Wisconsin Democrat are found in the newspapers.com Library Edition World Collection resource. They're historical, obviously, with specific date ranges from the 1800s. So once you have connected to the resource, searching for publications can look a bit different depending on the resource, but the basic steps are the same. In Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers, the homepage of the resource has all the publication titles listed. So you can uncheck all and select just the publication or publications that you wish to search. And again, please note that I am searching currently historical newspapers. If I wanted to search for newspapers from 2005 to 60 days ago, I would want to click here. And the search for newspapers from 2005 is the default search when opening the resource for the first time, when accessing the resources homepage here. Again, if you want to search for the historical newspapers within this resource, you just click that pink box in the upper right. With newspapers.com, you can select papers up at the top of the resource homepage, and then narrow further by selecting the state the publication is published within, like for instance, Wisconsin. You can add a date or a range, or you can simply type in some keywords within the newspaper title to find the newspaper. US Newsstream. From the new US Newsstream homepage, you'll click on Publications next to Advanced Search. And you can type in the publication you're searching for. I'm going to type in New York Times. Or you can narrow by the A to Z list here, but I'm going to type in my title and do a search. If the publication you're searching for displays, you can click on the title. I'm going to click on this late edition East Coast New York Times. And you can search within the publication from this publication page. You can search within the publication on a topic or a specific article title, or you can read all the articles within a particular issue by narrowing by date. And as you can see here, today's issue of the New York Times Late Edition has the articles in full text available. So I'm going to do a different kind of search in US Newsstream. So to get to that main search from the homepage, I'm just going to click on US Newsstream up here at the top, and that directs me back to the homepage. Have you ever hit a paywall with New York Times or Wall Street Journal titles, like most of us have, I think? You can do a basic search for the article title from US Newsstream's homepage and access the full text of the article, often even same-day coverage. So as an example, I wanted to read an article from last Tuesday's New York Times called "The People Green Are Fake Information." So in doing a search for this article title, I see the full text is available. So upon clicking, I see obviously the full text of the article, but there are not images nor video accompanying this article as seen on the New York Times Online version, but I can obviously, as you can see, read all the text. So the amount of content and how it looks depends on the resource as well. As you can see, this is how US Newsstream content is displayed. Newspapers.com and Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers, in contrast, both provide PDF imaging of the full text of articles and newspaper pages that look just like they did in print. So for newspapers.com, for instance, I'm just going to click on this first newspaper available, and just to show you how this compares to the US Newsstream article content. So you can see that it's a PDF image of how it exactly looks in print, which is, when you think about it, makes pretty good sense for historical newspapers. We're digitizing and putting these online as opposed to pulling the text out from online resources already. And the same with Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers. It looks very similar. So it's just going to take a beat. So as you can see, I selected one title, and this is the PDF image of how it looked in print, even in 2022. That is how Archive of Wisconsin Newspapers articles are going to look. This is how newspapers.com articles are going to look, and then US Newsstream, obviously that full text. So in briefly highlighting searching for newspapers and BadgerLink resources today, I hope an idea for using and sharing these resources in the library has been sparked, or maybe you saw a feature you haven't noticed before, or rediscovered a resource after not using it in a while. An info sheet and a recent recording of a previous session on Archive of Wisconsin newspapers, as well as quick video clips and info sheets highlighting basic search and publication search features for US Newsstream and newspapers.com, can all be found on the BadgerLink training page at badgerlink.dpi.wi.gov/training. The direct links to the resources themselves, as well as the info sheets, can be shared by library staff and educators via your web pages on your library and district websites. You can find those direct resource links on the For Library Staff page up here at the top. You can click on the For Library Staff page, and then under the Getting Started section is the direct links to resources. You can also integrate these newspaper resources into your learning management system, library management system, and single sign-ons like ClassLink or Clever. Please reach out to us at badgerlink@dpi.wi.gov to begin that process, or you can always click on the Contact Us form from the BadgerLink website. Please be sure to share these BadgerLink resources with your library users, since we know that resources that are shared are used. And thank you for promoting and supporting BadgerLink resources in your libraries and schools.